Okay, so this is bigger than you think. This might be the largest environmental disaster in US history. I have a serious thread to go over with you to inform you how bad this is right now. I'm not going to waste any time because I want to make sure that we can get through this full thread. It's a lot of crazy information that you guys need to know. So if you're brand new here, welcome to our awesome community where we do prepping tips, emergency preparedness, and news like this that may affect you. If that's your kind of thing, hit the notification bell so you guys can stay up to date. Let's jump into this one. So like I said, if you guys don't think this is crazy, you will definitely think it's crazy after you hear this. One of our community members sent me this thread, and I didn't know that this was as big a deal as it is. And I don't think other people do either, because you are not seeing a lot of this on the news media. So let's get going through this thread, because this is gonna serve as a huge warning to so many people. So this person is not someone that I normally follow, but I will now. His name's Kanakoa. I mean, like, this is a huge deal. I think bigger than most people really think. This thread's going to include photos, videos, and news reports about the train derailment and toxic chemical release in East Palestine, Ohio. And guys, the reports are nuts. Like, I don't think you're seeing this anywhere else. As mentioned here, this may be the largest environmental disaster in the US history, and they're not telling us this. As you can see, this thing looked like an atomic bomb that went off. He's got about 23 points, and we're going to try to go through the ones that, you know, I think are okay to show on here. So that was number one. This is number two. You are looking at a toxic cocktail of deadly chemicals purposefully being burned off in the East Palestine after the train derailment. Burned off vinyl chloride, which contains toxic carcinogenics, and released harmful and dangerous hydrogen chloride phosgene into the air. Now, I don't know if that's accurate, but I did see on Newsmax this morning that I think that they lit it on fire to do something. So number two, it says you're looking at toxic cocktail of deadly chemicals supposedly purposely being burned off in the East Palestine after the train derailment. So I'm going to be really subjective on this information because I don't really know this source. So I may change up some words, but I'll leave a link to this down in the description below. It says here, what was burned off was vinyl chloride, which is a toxic carcinogenic, and released harmful, dangerous hydrogen chloride phosgene into the air. Number three, phosgene is a highly toxic, colorless gas with a strong odor that causes vomiting and breathing trouble, and it is used as a chemical weapon in World War I. It also says hydrogen chloride is a colorless to yellowish gas with a strong odor. This causes skin, eye, nose, and throat irritations. And this guy right here, these are videos that probably can't be played on here, so you guys might want to check these out. Talking about OSHA and what OSHA is doing and not doing. Number four, it says Wisconsin Department of Health, exposure to vinyl chloride can affect a person's liver, kidney, lung, spleen, nervous system, and blood. Additionally, in quotes, human and animal studies show higher rates of liver and lung and severe other types of cancer. This right here is a snapshot of something from Wisconsin Department of Health where he used this. Number five, the vinyl chloride burn occurred near Ohio River, which flows directly into the Mississippi River. Thousands of farms may be affected by this. And like I showed you guys, a zoom up of this map. Like, this is extremely concerning for a third of our country. And if it's as bad as what I see here, this is a by far bigger deal than what they're making it out to be. Number six says the EPA sent a letter to the rail company stating that ethylene glycol monobutyl ethylhexyl acrylate and isobutylene were also in the rail cars. Sorry if I butchered those names. But up here in the canyon, those aren't in the vocabulary. Right here in this news story, in quotes from WKBN.com, 3 additional chemicals discovered on the East Palestine train derailment. In quotes, I'm not sure who made the quote, maybe it was in this news article. It says in quotes, "We basically nuked a town with chemicals so that we could get the railroad open." Well, now if that's true, that's really, really concerning. Number 7, Amanda Beshears found her chickens dead 10 miles from East Palestine. In quotes, "As soon as they started to burn, my chickens slowed down and they died." Also in quotes, "If it can do this to chickens in one night, imagine what it can do to us in 20 years. Moving down, another article you guys can watch. Number 8, there are reports of dead fish in rivers and creeks 5 miles away from the train derailment. And here's another news article from KDKA 2. You guys can, I've seen a bunch of clips on this specifically. They're down there scooping them out, all kinds of crazy stuff. Another crazy clip that you guys can reference. Moving right along, number 9, dead fish in Leslie Run coming out of East Palestine in Ohio. Here's another news clip. Actually, it looks like it's a TikTok clip. Coming right down. Oh, and this is where I saw tons. I saw this big, huge net pen that they put up. They had guys down there in biosuits scooping fish out. You can see right here, guys, they're scooping fish out of this river or creek. And these guys are in like biohaz suits. And this just went up into the sky and covered everybody. What is going on? Moving along, number 10, Taylor Holzer, a fox keeper just outside of the evacuation zone, says that one of his fox died and all have been acting sick since the vinyl chloride burn. In quotes, it says the chemicals we're being told are safe are definitely not safe for animals or people. And another reference article from WKBN.com. This is the guy with the foxes. Like, if you guys want to dig into this, like I said, let's get through all these posts. And if you guys want to reference any of these, I'm going to leave a link down in the description for you so you can check this out. Like I said, I think it's a much bigger deal than what they're saying it is. And we definitely need to be aware because I think this is a major warning. Number 11, the top 10 railroad owners of Norfolk Southern Corp include Vanguard, JP Morgan, BlackRock. Right here, guys, is a list of the owners. Kind of paints a story. Number 12, the East Palestine, Ohio toxic chemical burn may be the largest environmental disaster in the U.S. history. And this is on a news release right here. Another link that you guys can watch. Number 13, a former resident of East Palestine says, "It is so much worse than the media is telling us." In quotes, again, the water has been contaminated. The soil is contaminated. The effing air is contaminated. And here's another Ticker Talk reference to that. Number 14, 3 new dangerous chemicals were found on the train that derailed in East Palestine, Ohio. And it lists those 3 right there from Citizen Free Press. You guys can watch that on WYTV. In quotes, it says, "We basically nuked a town with chemicals so we could get a railroad open. I was surprised when they quickly told the people they could go back home." And guys, this is not funny, but it's insanely ridiculous how big of a deal this might be. Number 15, Netflix recently released a film called White Noise about a train derailment of toxic chemicals causing a massive explosion and deadly event in East Palestine, Ohio. Are you serious? How is this even possible? It makes a person question, was this planned? No way did they put out a movie of this happening and it just happened. On Netflix, here's the reference. I'll put it in the description. Right below, another user says, "Wow, here's a movie just made about the train derailment with toxins in Ohio, filmed in Ohio, where it just happened. Many of the extras were locals from East Palestine, Ohio," and it goes on to read. You see what I mean? This is insane. Let's keep going. Number 16, the CDC's medical management guidelines for vinyl chloride. These four clips right here include the health effects, routes of exposure, patient information sheet, and pre-hospital management Let's go through the first one. Health effects. The primary target of vinyl chloride accurate exposure in the CNS. Signs and symptoms include dizziness, ataxia, inebriation, fatigue, numbness, and tingling of the extremities, visual distractions, coma, and death. Vinyl chloride can irritate the eyes, mucous membranes, and respiratory tract. Escaping compressed gas or liquid can cause frostbite or irritation of the skin and eyes. Chronic exposure can cause permanent liver injury and liver cancer, neurotic or behavioral symptoms, and changes to the skin and bones of the hands. And I could read all this and it would probably be super interesting, but I'll put it down there so you guys can reference it. Again, the CDC's medical management guidelines for vinyl chloride. It sounds insane. Number 17, this video shows sparks or flames 20 miles before train derailment in East Palestine. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It might be Palestine. You guys get the point. It says here in quotes from KDKA News 2, we have obtained 2 videos which show preliminary indications of mechanical issues on one of the rail car axles. And there's a news video reference to that one. Number 18, Norfolk Southern Corporation, NSC, with total assets worth $38 billion in 2020, operates the railway that caused the toxic chemical release in East Palestine, Ohio. Last Monday, the company made a $25,000 donation to assist evacuating residents. Well, I'm sure $25,000 is not going to cut it in this situation. Number 19, we're getting close to the end. There's 23. Norfolk Southern Corporation manages 19,420 route miles in 22 eastern states and District of Columbia and has rights in Canada over the Canadian Pacific Railway Albany to Montreal route as well. And here's a map they give for reference. Around 6% of its deliveries are chemicals. That's kind of crazy. Scrolling down, number 20. A Facebook update yesterday from Darlington, Pennsylvania. Kennel owner says after 20 minutes outside, they had horrible headaches, runny noses, burning and swollen eyes, pulsations within the eye sockets, itchy throat, and coughing. And then they add another reference here talking about the death of 140,000 soldiers in World War I related to the same stuff. Number 21, the EPA's liability letter sent to North Fork Southern Railway Company on February 10th. In quotes, it says, cars containing vinyl chloride and the 3 other ones that I can't pronounce very well are known to have been and continue to be released into the air. And this is directly from the EPA. Here's the letters for reference right here. Number 22, the EPA's release and manifest last night from North Fork Southern, summarizing more chemicals that were released into East Palestine, Ohio. 3 cars of the first one, 1 car of the second one, 1 car of the third one, and 2 cars of something else that was crazy bad, apparently. And this guy has a video right here explaining everything that was on those cars, if you guys want to reference that. Moving right along, 23, North Fork Southern Railroad pulled 180,000 gallons of oil and water from the East Palestine train derailment site. The company issued a remediation plan to the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency on Monday detailing its recovery efforts. And here's a reference article from Cincinnati.com. Number 24, I think we're actually going to 27. Hazmat specialist is concerned authorities aren't testing for phosgene, hydrogen chloride, and the dioxins in East Palestine, Ohio. In quotes from this news article, MSNBC, phosgene takes a special photo ionization lamp or special meter. What are they checking for? Question. They only give a list of what they have found. Like I said, another really good news article going over that matter. Number 25, Taylor Holzer, an update on the fox keeper in East Palestine, Ohio, says several foxes he keeps on his property have become mortally ill. In quotes, Norfolk Southern Corp can't get away with what they have done. Kieran has passed away. The rest of my foxes are suffering. And here is a post on all that. Very sad. Number 26, a resident scoops up dead fish and frogs 4 miles south of the train derailment and toxic chemicals release in East Palestine, Ohio. Quotes to this post and photos, it says, "In single dip of my net, I collected nearly 24 dead or near dead aquatic animals." And here is a reference and a link to that Twitter post. Also, here's another news agency reporting on dead fish 5 miles away. Number 27, mother talks about her 9-year-old asthmatic son's reaction to the toxic chemicals released in East Palestine, Ohio. In quotes, she said he was projectile vomiting across the floor out of nowhere. He was shaking, begging for water. He said he couldn't breathe. He broke out, and the story goes on. Another story you guys can watch. It's a YouTube post and a link. Number 28, Caitlin Schwelswelder tells Glenn Beck 4 of her dogs were projectile vomiting. Her eyes and throat get itchy and burn when she visits her home, and she plans to abandon East Palestine forever because of her long-term health concerns. And there's a link to the Glenn Beck show right there. And then the thread goes into tons and tons of comments. The point here being that this sounds like it's serving as a major warning to what may have happened here. If you guys happen to be anywhere in this area, you might want to use great caution. Make sure that you guys have good water filters. Do not drink any water unless it's filtered water and you know it's safe. We have a video right up here for a good water filter. Personally, I think that I would completely evacuate that area until you know it's safe to return. And we're talking about a huge area. Not sure what's going on here, but it sounds concerning. It sounds like a major warning. Let me know carefully down in the comments if there's any other information or information that you want to share to our community, because a lot of our community is in this third part of our country. This definitely sounds worrisome to me. Major reasons to take precautions. Please like and share this. Again, leave me any information that you guys might want to leave the community. Be safe out there, guys. Keep prepping, keep learning, keep doing. We'll see you on the next one.